Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Bob DiMaria with another No Meds video for you. Thank you for joining me. It is the end of September. We have so much to talk about tonight, and probably the most significant area that we have questions with all the time is about cholesterol and what people should and should not be eating. So we're going to talk about cholesterol tonight. We're going to talk about why you should be avoiding statin drugs. I know that so many people, do you know that the company that makes Lipitor about 3 years ago, now this is just the company that makes Lipitor, which is a statin drug, $19 billion. It's $19 billion on one pill, one company. So what I want to talk to you about tonight is this whole thought process of what cholesterol really does do for individuals. Okay, here we go. So I like to have some visuals. This is a chart of cholesterol. See, cholesterol as the basic building block for all the steroids in your body. So your body starts with cholesterol, and you can see by looking at this chart, it makes the other hormones. So basically, if you look, there's cholesterol on the top, and it goes down and it makes something called pregnenolone. Pregnenolone goes off to the side there and becomes something called progesterone. If you follow progesterone all the way down, it becomes cortisol or cortisone. So this is really interesting. Cholesterol is the basic building block to make cortisone, which is like the water that puts the fire out in a person's body. So if you look at that progesterone, and then you look right here with these estrogens right here, so cholesterol becomes pregnenolone, which becomes progesterone. Progesterone has two choices. Progesterone can go on and make and balance out estrogen, or the progesterone can go down and become cortisone. Here's one of the reasons I think people have high cholesterol. They're under stress. When you're under stress, your body's going to use right there. It's going to use up your cortisol. So if you run out of cortisone or water to put the fire out, your adrenal glands, which make the cortisol go, brain, brain. And the brain goes, what do you want? And it says, I need to make some more cortisone. So what's the brain do? It makes cholesterol. So a lot of people have this misconception that they have to stay away from eating steak and cheese. And I'm not telling you to eat these foods with reckless abandon, but I think so many people have missed the boat that there are other reasons that you, in fact, have high cholesterol in your body. So I'm just going to say one more time. Cholesterol becomes pregnenolone. Pregnenolone becomes progesterone. Progesterone becomes cortisol. Now, we're going to talk about this a little bit next month because we'll be talking about female hormones. I've commonly seen women have miscarriages because they run out of progesterone. I've seen individuals have MS because they run out of progesterone. I've seen people with low thyroid have a problem because they don't have enough progesterone. So that brought something to my mind right here that I wanted to share with you. You can have elevated cholesterol in your body because of a low thyroid gland. I'll say that again. You can have elevated cholesterol in your body because of a low thyroid gland. Your thyroid gland is the gas pedal to your body. So if you have high cholesterol, you've been on statin medications, and your cholesterol will not go down, you have cold hands and cold feet, you have wide-spaced teeth, you have thinning hair, those are body signals of subpar thyroid function. You said, Dr. Bob, I thought you were going to be talking about cholesterol tonight. I am. See, cholesterol is the basic building block, and you're going to want to go back and watch this again. And I talk about this in Dr. Bob's Drugless Guide to Balancing Female Hormones and Dr. Bob's Men's Health, the Basic. Cholesterol is the basic building block to make all the other steroids in your body. If your thyroid gland is subpar, your cholesterol could go up. Body signals for low thyroid, cold hands, cold feet, thinning hair, thinning eyebrows, wake up with a headache first thing in the morning that goes away as the time goes on, wake up with a headache because you had something sweet to eat the night before, fatigue, depression. One of the leading causes of depression is subpar thyroid function. So if somebody comes into our practice and they're not feeling 100%, we'll do an OptiChem profile, which includes, you're going to write this down, a TSH, a T3, a T4, and a TPO. A TSH, a T3, a T4, and a TPO. And I've talked about thyroid before. I just want you to know this. T4 should be at 8. T3 should be at 130. If your T4 is normal and your T3 is low, you have subpar thyroid function because of stress. That's important for you to remember that. Stress takes zinc out of your body. It elevates copper and cortisol, which stops the conversion of T4 to T3. So cholesterol is the basic building block for everything. Cholesterol can be elevated for low thyroid. Now, let me talk to you a little bit about HDL cholesterol, LDL cholesterol. I will talk about statins. I'm going to show you some of the food that I eat. I'm having you think a little bit different now about what's going on inside of your body. Thank you for joining me. As you know, I'm Dr. Bob DiMaria. We have a giveaway that's going to be tonight. We're going to give everybody a book. We're going to get you a PDF of my trans fat book. You need to email customercare@druglessdoctor.com. Customercare@druglessdoctor.com. And we are also in there. You want you to put free book. And then the winner tonight is going to get a Celtic sea salt shaker and a pound bag of Celtic sea salt. So to get the free book, we're going to do a drawing. Also, we're going to get you a Celtic sea salt shaker and a pound of Celtic sea salt. Type in the word here. So then we announce the winner. We're going to need to get your address and all that so we can send you the product. So let's talk about cholesterol for a minute, because I need to explain to you something that's not very well understood, but we see it all the time in our practice. Now, cholesterol, I want you to think of cholesterol as a fireman in the body. What do firemen do? Firemen do something that's very important. Firemen put out I use this today, so let's make sure it's still working here. Firemen put out, I'm not sure what happened, but firemen put out fires. Okay, so pretend this is a fire. So firemen put out fires. Now in the human body, firemen cannot float in blood. Firemen have to be taken in a fire truck. The fire trucks in the human body are called lipoproteins, just to make it really simple. Now, the fire truck that takes the fireman to the fire is called the LDL fire truck. So the LDL fire truck takes the fireman to the fire. See, most people call the LDL bad, but it's not bad. So I'm changing your thinking. The LDL fire truck is not a bad fire truck. It's taking the fireman to the fire. Do you all understand that? The HDL fire truck takes the fireman back to the firehouse. So let's say there's a fire. So if there's a fire, what kind of truck's going to come? The LDL truck. So let's just say that the firemen are going to go to the fire on the LDL truck. Let's say it's a big fire. So the big fire, you need lots of firemen. You have lots of firemen, you need lots of LDL trucks. Where are they going? They're going to put the fire out. So let's just say that you're having some challenges inside of your body. For whatever reason, I don't know. LDL, to me, is a body signal that you have inflammation. That's important. So you want to look at your marker of what normal is for your blood reference lab. If your LDL is elevated, you need to step back and see what are you doing inside of your body. Most people are eating an inflammatory diet, and it obviously is going to be caused by sugar and trans fat. So margarine, which we've been all told for years and years and years is good for you, is really bad. And it's not that I don't trust science anymore, but I just read an article in a magazine, I believe it might have been the Wall Street Journal or Time magazine, that they've retracted like over 400 articles because they falsified information. So I'm not saying I don't trust science anymore, but I don't really trust science anymore when it comes to certain areas. So the LDL fire truck, LDL elevates when you have inflammation in your body. So if you have had a lot of challenges and you go to see your family doctor and your cholesterol level is up and your LDL level is up, and he says, whoa, we got to do something about this, and he puts you on a statin drug, you're not getting to the cause of your problem. See, nobody ever asks what is causing the fire. Fire can be caused by stress. Fire can be caused by sugar. Fire can be caused by trans fat. That's important. So let's go back to this chart. Cholesterol becomes pregnenolone, which becomes progesterone, which goes down to become cortisone or cortisol. I want you to think of cortisol as the water that puts the fire out. So if your cholesterol is consistently high, I want you to ask to have your thyroid checked. I want you to be aware of how much sugar and how much margarine you're consuming, because those can elevate your cholesterol levels. The HDL cholesterol will increase or elevate with exercise. I want you to know that most people want their HDL to be 50 or greater. I have people who exercise regularly that have HDL cholesterols of 110 or 120. They could still have an elevated cholesterol, but their HDL cholesterol could be a part of the elevation. I like to see a person's cholesterol level be between 200 and 2.25. If your cholesterol is edging up to 250 and you have a normal HDL, that means at 50, you probably are eating too many carbs, too much sugar. That was important. So I'm going to repeat this again. So cholesterol should normally be 200, 2.25. If your cholesterol is 250 or above, write this down. And your triglycerides are blood fats, are also elevated. I know you're eating too many carbs, too many refined grains, because those refined grains are transferred to triglycerides. Triglycerides are fat in your body. And it's going to cause your blood vessels to get really narrow. And if they're going to get really narrow, they're not going to be able to transport blood. So if you go to your family doctor and he puts you on a statin drug, they have bad effects. Statin drugs work by eliminating a part of the cholesterol in your body that makes sex hormones. That's why men will have a problem possibly getting an erection if they're on a cholesterol-lowering drug. You'll also notice pain in your body, and here's why. Do you see that cholesterol becomes pregnenolone? But down in here, it can become testosterone. And over here, it's cortisol. So what happens is these statin drugs are taking out certain aspects of the cholesterol that your body's using, for example, for pain relief. That's why some people you know who are on a statin drug have pain in their body. That's why some men may have issues obtaining and achieving an erection. You also could have optic strokes. You could have Parkinson's type of shakes. I also just read an article about statin drugs could be a reason that some people have heart attacks because it interferes with your body's ability to make CoQ10 in your body, which is very important for energy. And it's also important for heart function. So you could have normal or below normal cholesterol, be on a statin drug, and still have a heart attack. I'm going to just address this LDL for a minute. If your LDL is 130, that LDL is elevated because you're taking a lot of firemen to the fire. Your body has inflammation. We encourage our practice members to use flax oil. You could use a tablespoon of flax oil every day per 100 pounds. Now, I'm going to share something with you. This is a dipstick. A dipstick is what is in your car to measure oil. Now, when I wrote my first book on ADHD, I had a hypothesis that trans fat caused ADHD because it sabotaged the fat in your brain called DHA. Well, over time, there's a company we work with down in Georgia that I could take a little bit of blood out of your finger, send it to a lab in Georgia, and they can tell me the amount of good fat that you have for your heart called EPA. They also can tell me a fat that you have in your blood called arachidonic acid, which is not good, which is commonly found in ice cream and in dairy products. And if you're consuming a lot of omega-6 fats, your body could be in a state of inflammation. Omega-6 fats are sunflower oil and safflower oil. So if you have inflammation in your body and you're not getting any better, you may consider having an essential fatty acid blood spot test. I've had individuals who've had consistent low thyroid not go away because of the fact that they had subpar thyroid function, didn't have enough oil. So we talk about Dr. Bob's ever famous ABCs, apple, beets, and carrots. Well, they've done research at Ohio State that you can lower your cholesterol up to 40% by eating an apple. Now, I've read statistics anywhere from 13 to 40%. All I got to do is do a search at your favorite Hangout and just type in Ohio State University, apples and cholesterol. It was 40%. Now, there's a book called Clinical Purification by Gina Nick, and she did some research on beet fiber. The beet fiber that she discussed was not sugar beets, okay? You can lower your cholesterol 40% by eating up to 15 grams of beet fiber on a regular basis. So I eat a half a red apple every day, every day. Now, before the program started tonight, I want you to see, this is like hot right off the cutting board and off my sharp knife. I'm going to eat this tomorrow. This is a swap bag. This is an official 5-minute-old swap bag, okay? You can see I have a slice of cucumber in there, a cauliflower, 2 radishes. Here's my half a red apple. I ran out of celery tonight, so I threw in some extra tomatoes. Tomatoes are good, gentlemen, for prostate, which we'll talk about in a minute. There's the red pepper, okay? So I have cauliflower in here, tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, and I'm going to eat that tomorrow. So that's a swap bag. We have the apple, a half a red apple every day. So I know that you're all tired of looking at Dr. Bob Beets, so I thought I'd do the next best thing. This is what I'm going to eat tomorrow. This is GMO-free corn, by the way, and I'll throw some corn periodically. Corn really is not bad for you. I eat corn every day, and it probably is more of a starchy carb, but we're getting to the end of the season. But this is the beets right here that I'm going to be eating tomorrow, and there's tomatoes in there, and cilantro, and cauliflower, and there's mushrooms. So this is an official Dr. Bob salad, and I made this salad the other day, and you can see, and there's avocado in there too. Avocado happens to be olive oil in a fruit, okay? So avocados are good. Now I'm going to show you something special. My wife just made this, and I am so fortunate and blessed to be married to Debbie. Are you ready to see something that is like tastes so good? She should bottle this. This is beet hummus. It looks like pink strawberry ice cream, but this is beet hummus. And my wife has a secret recipe. This is organic garbanzo beans, and that red is beet. Doesn't that just look luscious? I'm going to be at my office tomorrow having lunch at noon, okay? If you come by with a carrot, I might give you a free dip, but that is good stuff. And I don't know what she puts in it, but it is delicious. Okay. So let me backtrack here a bit. I'm getting so excited about all the food. You want your liver to be functioning optimally. An optimum functioning liver will help manage and maintain cholesterol levels. You want your cholesterol to be about 200. Dr. Bob's ABCs will help manage your cholesterol. Beet, fiber, and apple will keep your cholesterol. But you got to understand something. Sugar is the nemesis. Now make sure, excuse me, if you want to win or receive, Dr. Bob's Trans Fat Survival Guide, the PDF version of it, you need to email us at customercare@druglessdoctor.com. and write in the subject line, free book. And then we're also going to have a winner tonight's going to get a shaker of Celtic sea salt in a pound bag. That's really special. And the Celtic Sea Salt Company is an excellent company. We really enjoy them. So let me talk to you a little bit about a few other things here, okay? Let me just check to make sure I got all my details of tonight taken care of. Somebody wanted to know what are practical ways to reduce stress. What do you personally do to reduce my stress? I exercise. Listen, I woke up this morning at 4:45. My wife and I pray together. I have some organic coffee. Of course, you know, yesterday was National Coffee Day. And then we rode our bike for 6 miles. I saw patients today, came home, and we rode our bike tonight before I did this hangout with you guys. Now, I just did a PowerPoint at Town Hall, and I'm not sure where we're going to have it posted on stress, but your brain has a lot to do with stress. You can think. Human beings are the only creatures on the planet that can think thoughts that can create distress in your body. I don't eat any sugar. I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink soda pop. I eat pure food. A lot of people have stress because they think too much. They don't exercise enough. And if you have a stressful situation or someone you need to confront, I'm going to have to tell you, you're going to have to either confront the situation and or deal with it, because a lot of times people say yes too many. They get themselves overhead with too many commitments. So what I usually tell our practice members do is say, if somebody asks you to do something, just say, I can't say yes. What does that mean? It means no, but you're saying in a very polite way. So that'll hopefully make a difference from somebody who out there, I think his name was Joseph. Okay, let me talk to you about this prostate gland, okay? Now, I want you to know this. This is kind of frightening. I read an article some time ago about a prostate is a $2 billion a year business. They go snipping and tucking men's prostate glands. I had my PSA tested probably about once every 2 years because of a life insurance policy that I had to have it tested. My PSA has never been elevated. I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why. I eat tomatoes on a regular basis. Something else that I do, and I'm going to encourage you men to do this too. Everybody should. This is a shower dechlorinator. See, chlorine is antagonistic to your prostate gland. I take 12 milligrams of iodine every day. I also take a product called argizyme. Argizyme has an enzyme in it called arginase. I take 4 every day. So when I go to bed tonight after this program, I might make up once to use the facility. Now you gotta imagine, I'm 61 years old, okay? I ain't peeing my pants all night. Why? Because my prostate's not large. Because see, when your prostate gets large, it puts pressure on your bladder. Now, I've had men come into my practice that have to catheterize themselves. I wouldn't want to be doing that to myself to let their bladder go. So you got to get away from soy, because soy's going to put too much estrogen in your body. And men don't need estrogen. That's why you want your liver to be processing and working good, because the liver processes the estrogen. So even if your PSA is high, does not mean that it's abnormal. Now, if you're peeing a lot and urinating a lot during the nighttime and you have this large prostate gland, you might want to have a consultation with me, because there are things that we can do to lower that. And I just gave you 2 that I use, okay? Argizyme, and I use iodine. So what would be the symptoms of prostate cancer? You're going to have pain down in your groin. You're going to have difficulty starting, stopping, and you may not have any. Pat Rickles, R-I-C-K-E-L-S. You email customercare@druglessdoctor.com. That's Pat with an R. R as in Robert. Email us at customercare@druglessdoctor.com, and we are going to send you in. Congratulations on you. Enjoy that. I also just want to briefly touch about ovarian cancer. And ovarian cancer can be quite mysterious, but I want you all to listen to my heart right now. Iodine is really important for your ovaries, for your prostate, for your breast, and for your thyroid gland. You know, if you could spend a couple $100 and you can have a urine iodine loading test done, you want your urine iodine to be at least 95. But here's how the test goes. For 4 days, you don't take any iodine. On day number 5, you take 50 milligrams of iodine, which we'll send you. So first you do a pre-test, okay? You're going to do the pre-test. You're going to take the 50 milligrams of iodine. The next 24 hours, you're going to save your urine. Then we're going to get a post-test. You're going to shake that urine up. We're going to put it in the post. We're going to send it to a lab. Now listen to this. The lab's going to tell us how much urine iodine or iodine you excreted. Most people excrete about 35%. They usually just secrete about 5%. So if you're holding on to, if your urine iodine level is about 60, that means you have excreted a lot of the urine iodine. Your body was holding on to it. So you have a challenge. And so we have to supplement you with iodine. So I take 12 milligrams of iodine every day. You might want to have your T4 tested also. So men need to make sure they have enough iodine for the prostate. Women want the same thing for their ovaries. Here's some of the issues that I'm seeing today. Now, in the community that I live, there are organic lawn services. So if gentlemen, if you like to walk on the golf course, I have nothing against golfing going on the golf course. But you're going to want to ride on the cart and golf on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon when it's sunny. So or any day of the week that's sunny, because you don't want to be walking on grass that's loaded with estrogen. Do you understand that? The same for you ladies. You know, we have estrogen is everywhere. You don't want to be doing any soy at all. Soy is going to put too much estrogen in your body. So let me just kind of talk about what can we do here. Let's backtrack because we only have a couple minutes left. How do you lower cholesterol? First, stay away from sugar and trans fat. Eat Dr. Bob's ABCs every day. Half a red apple, third cup of beet fiber, medium carrot. That'll lower your cholesterol. If your thyroid gland is low, have your thyroid gland checked. What are body signals for low thyroid? Cold hands and cold feet, wide-spaced teeth, constipation, elevated cholesterol, thinning eyebrows, fatigue, morning headache. Go back and you're going to want to watch this again. We also talked about this in Dr. Bob's Struggler's Guide to Balancing Female Hormones and Dr. Bob's Men's Health, The Basics. Tremendous books, a lot of information. Men's prostate challenges. Yes, you can have your PSA tested, okay? The biggest challenge you're going to see is multiple frequent urination at nighttime. If you're going to the bathroom 3 or 4 times a night, chances are you're going to have some issues with potential enlarged prostate. Ladies, I wish I could give you the simple testing for ovarian cancer. I can't. I do know that all of you want to have your iodine levels checked. Iodine is so important because iodine is going to help balance your body. It's going to help just keep everything under control, especially ladies. It's going to help manage your breasts. And next month, we're going to be talking about female breast tissue and breast health and a couple other very important factors. Now, let me talk about one last thought, the statin drugs. If you're taking a statin drug, you may consider taking CoQ10 because CoQ10 is depleted by a statin drug. If you take statin drugs, you want to have your liver tested because one of the bad effects of those statin drugs is liver disease. I think the most important thing for you to understand is that cholesterol is not bad. Cholesterol is necessary. Cholesterol is beneficial to you. Cholesterol is doing its job. If your cholesterol level is out of the ballpark and it's really elevated, the problem is not the cholesterol. The problem is you probably have your hand in the cookie jar. When you have your hand in the cookie jar, you're going to have a lot of inflammation in your body. And you don't want a lot of inflammation in your body. That's why we encourage our patients to take some flax oil. But you know what? Have the essential fatty acid blood spot test done. This could save so many of you from having a lot of challenges with dementia, heart issues, depression, etc. We're just trying to make a difference for each and every one of you. Probably a very good Christmas present would be to have an essential fatty acid blood spot test for your own peace of mind. And I'm going to tell you right now, these shower dechlorinators, they're awesome. They'll help so your skin doesn't dry up. Now, one last thought. We're getting into the fall season. Make sure you start taking your vitamin D during the month of October. Consider the iodine because iodine also helps people who have seasonal allergies. You guys have been tremendous. Thank you for this past month and just following us. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Tell your friends. This will be posted on our Facebook page and will be on Natural News also. You guys have a tremendous night, and I'll see you at the end of October. Bye, everybody.